Hi, my name is Becca. Welcome back to Raising Them Simply. Here we share all about our secular homeschool as a family of 5. Today we're going to be doing a March wrap-up video for my current 2nd grader. So if you are new here, I have a 2nd grader, a preschooler, a toddler, and another one on the way. I'm also a part-time working mom as a nurse, so this channel is all things homeschool and how we make it work for our family. So if any of that interests you at all, please hit that subscribe button so you're notified of future videos. But let's jump into it. Okay, so if you're not new here, we're gonna start with history. We are doing ancient history with Build Your Library. We did pre-history at the beginning of the year, then we jumped into ancients because that just made most sense to us, so that's how we did it. We are now almost done with week 7, which is ancient Egypt. So our last update, I will leave linked down below. We did the Neolithic and Paleolithic eras, and then this last month we talked about ancient Sumer, the Mesopotamian area and all that. And now we're jumping into ancient Egypt, which has been what my son has been looking most forward to. I'm not gonna go over, if you're familiar with Build Your Library, I'm not gonna go over artist study or poetry or anything like that. I did in my last video. Nothing has changed on that front. So if you have questions on how we incorporate that, you could take a look at that video. But the book that we did for that last one was The Golden Bull. My son loved this book. It ended up turning into our bedtime story for him. He just loved it. I know that there are a couple different creators on here who started reading it with their kids and it was not a great fit for them. There are some parts where it's insinuated that mean things would happen toward children. You could go ahead and look up the book and get more information about that if you're wanting that. But my son had no issue with this. So it's about a kid who him and his sister live on a farm in ancient Sumer in the town of and there is a drought and they have no food and they are starving. And so his dad made a deal with another family who lived in town where the son could go and become an apprentice to a goldsmith over there. And last minute, his father decided that his sister needed to go with him. And it's their journey about going into town and how that works in this. They do talk about slavery and things like that. So that's something that you would want to be aware of before you read this book. But my son loved it. So that was the read aloud for ancient Sumer. Some of the things that we went over in that time period. So I remembered this book, Homeschool Together podcast talked about that they did this book with their learners when they were doing Build Your Library, and this is a street through time. My son loved this. We just got it from the library, but it is a book I'm going to purchase. So what it does is it starts off with, this is the Stone Age, and it just takes you a look at what the street looks like as time moves on. So this goes all the way into the future. And there's little numbers in here, and then the numbers referenced at the bottom, so it kind of explains what the pictures are. My son is obsessed with this book. He's often just found looking at this book on the floor and just absorbing the information. So we loved this book as like a supplement. And then we relied heavily on the library because there are certain things, like my son wanted to know more information about scribes and stuff, and there really wasn't a whole lot of information. So some books we got from the library. One, we got Ancient Times Mesopotamia, and this book is great because since we were learning Mesopotamia, this was just this area. A lot of the books that I found, I kind of had to find encyclopedias or books on ancient Egypt and then pick apart the pieces that were relevant to Mesopotamia. So it talks about the 2 different rivers there, how they first developed writing on the clay tablets with reeds. Talks about farming and how they built the town. It talks about their temple, which this temple is brought up a lot in the Golden Bull book, so it was nice to have a reference for that. We also did Rich and Poor in Mesopotamia, Iraq in Ancient Times. Same kind of thing, just a reference book for that. We have some Egyptian books that we are going to be pulling for this next section, but these are also books that I was able to use in reference when it came to scribes, which were very helpful. And then this one is, I'm going to cover it so you can't see which library, but it's Be a Scribe, Working for a Better Life in Ancient Egypt. I also have a hieroglyphic book that I got from the library. I'm not sure where that is, but we will be using that book as reference as well. And I did do, I can't remember if I did a video or just a reel. Either way, I'll link it down below. This is one of the free books that I got in a homeschool haul. So this is, I Wonder Why the Pyramids Were Built and Other Questions About Ancient Egypt. We will be pulling this in reference for the next month as we talk about ancient Egypt. And the read aloud for this section is the Egyptian Diary, the Journal of Nekit. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I did purchase this. I try to purchase all of the spines that we use to just make it easier on myself. So this one was purchased. I believe I got a good deal on this from Thrift Books because there's a library stamp on here. But this is a, just like it says, it's written like it's a diary from the point of view of a boy. His dad is already a scribe and has been teaching him how to be a scribe, but he gets promoted and he gets to go to the big town in Egypt to be a scribe for more like religious things, and then he has to go to a school and things like that. So I thought this was really neat because it is from a child's perspective. So my son's been really enjoying this so far. So that is Build Your Library. Next, we're going to talk about math. So math, we did start second grade math with confidence. We took a little break. I was a little apprehensive about starting because my son is still struggling with his addition and subtraction facts, being quick about it. And I did end up talking to the mindful homeschooler. I talked to her a lot. I will link her channel down below. She's great. Just to bounce some ideas off of her because my son's just not motivated. Like if we're doing the workbook for this and it's practicing addition and subtraction, or I put addition and subtraction on the board, my son will take 15-20 minutes to do it, like five questions. And I try to explain to him, like, when you take a long time to do this, it makes me feel like you don't understand, and then we need to go over it again, which is fine, but then I need to know. So I actually forgot to mention this in my last update, but we had just purchased, or didn't purchase, I got free flashcards off of Teachers Pay Teachers for just addition and subtraction facts. And we were going through that and he was still taking a long time to do it. So Nicole at the Mindful Homeschooler had mentioned how her daughter was having similar struggles when it came to multiplication and division. And she just said repetition and finding something to help incentive-wise really helped. And so I decided, you know, we'll try to go more of that route because I wasn't trying to incentivize his, you know, doing his math facts. So I decided to do challenges here instead of tests. And I went on Teachers Pay Teachers and I found, I will link it down below, just a bunch of math timed tests, excuse me. And decided, I told my son, you know, at the beginning of our school day, he will have a challenge. Each of these have, I believe it's 15 questions. Yeah, 15 questions. They're all mixed up, addition and subtraction. And then she has in group for 10s and then up to 20. I think I spent $5 on it or something like that. And if he does these tests within a certain amount of time, gets them all correct, he gets a tally on the whiteboard. Once he gets to 10 tally marks, then he can go ahead and purchase a candy bar from the store. we don't really buy candy here. And so my son got really excited when he decided that, or when we told him that he could get candy, and that really motivated him. The first time we did the test with the easiest test that they had in there, he completed all of these problems in 3 minutes, and they were all correct. So obviously he knows them. Are there some that he needs practice on? Yeah. As we are getting in these harder ones, it's been a few days since he's actually gotten a tally mark, but he's still motivated to do it. So what happens is when he has a test that he does not do all of it correctly, we review what he got wrong so that he understands it, and then I make him redo the test the next time, and we will just keep redoing that one until he's got it down, and then we will move on to the next one. And so that's been working really well for us. But I was apprehensive about moving into the second grade because he did not have these down, but I'm finding that that isn't an issue here. So the first 2 weeks here in this book, or the first week rather, is just review. We pretty much skipped that because we had literally just finished the first grade, so there's no reason for us to review. So we are just getting done with the second week of this, and right now we're talking about greater than and less than and equal to signs, so it's not an issue. If we get to a point where we cannot advance in this because he needs more practice on this, we will pause and just work on this and reassess. But for now, this is going just fine. Okay, language arts. I know we talked about our books and stuff like that when it came to build your library. Now we're going to talk about everything else that comes with it. We've only done a couple lessons with the All About Reading this last month. I've talked about this before, but my son's reading really exploded and he's testing at a 4th grade level. But we're still going through doing All About Reading. My plan was to do it once or twice a week. We've probably only done it 3 times this last month. We're doing the lessons so that he understands the rules for why things are read the way that they are. That's why we're still continuing with this, and I still think it's good for us to go over all of that. But there's nothing new there, so we're not going to talk about it. As far as the handwriting book, I had mentioned how we're doing this. It's a kindergarten level just to practice and get neater with our writing. I don't make him trace the words, but I do make him write the words and stuff underneath it. We're now at the point where he's doing like copy work with this. The reason why we're not doing just traditional copy work, because there is copy work built into Build Your Library. My son just doesn't care for it. He likes this because it has different facts about animals and stuff like that he thinks are cool. And he likes trying to see if there's things in here that he already knows or if they're new facts, because my son went through several years where he was obsessed with animals, so he actually knows quite a bit about them. The copy work when it comes to what we're doing in our book is boring to him, honestly. He would rather do this, so we're just gonna go with it. Spelling. I actually just posted a video on how we use the spectrum spelling. I will link that down below for you guys. This is still growing great. We do this in different chunks. So he has a spelling challenge every single day with words that he has misspelt from all the way back from the first lesson till now. I have a post-it in here that I just keep a running tab. And then as he is solidifying if he spells a word correctly 3 or 4 times, I cross it off the list so we're not continuously reviewing it. He will still review it at other parts built in, but it's not something I'm making him practice every day. So this has been going really well. We are still using that spelling with our dyslexia spelling. We're not using this as much as we were when we first started this, when I talked about in our last update. But my son still loves this. We are just in crunch time right now until baby is about to be born. And I'm looking at the bigger picture about wanting to slow down on certain things and have us to be able to enjoy being a family of 5 before we become a family of 6. So to me, this is like an extra thing. So if we want to go, for example, today we went to a new library we've never been to before, and they were doing a dinosaur thing, so we went there. And I wanted to be able to do that. So later on today for school, we will do the spelling, because I'd rather him do the spelling challenges in here than him do this. So I'm just picking and choosing a couple of things because we are down to just the next couple weeks before this new baby comes. So there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just reprioritizing our things a little bit. And the Spectrum Language Arts workbook. This is still going good. We're only a couple lessons in. But this is more talking about like what is a noun, the different types of noun there are, him trying to find nouns and sentences and things like that. That's what we're going over in here. It wasn't something that I was necessarily looking for at the beginning of 2nd grade, but when I looked at what we were doing for our 3rd grade language arts, we are going to be using Hearth and Story. He needed to be able to know how to write a sentence and things like that already. And they were going to talk about this stuff in that program that he had never heard of before. So this is like a once a week thing. So we're only a couple lessons in, but he's enjoying it. He likes the little games where he has to search in the, he has to like look in a paragraph and circle the words and stuff like that and find where the capital letters are and periods and all that stuff. So he's enjoying it, which I was a little apprehensive about because he doesn't usually like workbooks, but I guess if it's, as long as it's not map work, he's fine with the workbook. So that's going great. Our anger management book. We do this as a group subject between him and my preschooler. This is going good. It's fostering a lot of good conversations. And I'm finding that as my hormones and stuff like that are changing with baby, and then as some developmental changes are happening in some of my kids, that this is actually a really good time for us to go over this information, because this book does do a great job talking about other factors that can contribute to anger, like being hungry, not sleeping very well, you know, my hormones changing, you know, things like that. And it's helping us understand that the angry isn't the problem. It's okay and it's healthy and it's safe to feel anger. It's how we react in those times when we are feeling angry. So this has been really great. I'm glad that we are going through this still. We are doing the morning menu still. I haven't changed anything on that, but my son is getting, he has our address and our numbers memorized now. He's doing much better with his calendar work now that we've been doing it consistently. So there's nothing really to update on. We do that as a group. My 2 learners have different calendars, obviously, but that's time they do it at the same time. So that's going well. I might update his calendar here after baby comes. If you guys want to know what we're going to be doing for the calendar work, let me know and I can figure that out for you guys. But our last group subject here is the weather and natural disasters. In the last month, we have talked about hurricanes and tornadoes. So we talked about hurricanes, tornadoes, because I live in Minnesota, we have tornadoes here. So we have been taking a little bit extra time to speak about tornadoes. We got extra books from the library. We watched a couple extra videos on YouTube. We actually have quite a few channels that we go to over and over again to help supplement with science and some history things. If you guys want like a list or want me to do a video separately on the type of resources that we pull from YouTube to help with our school, let me know, because I can totally do that video for you guys. But we took some extra time to watch those videos and stuff like that when it came to tornadoes so that they understood it. And we are going to pause there and do some more things like drills where we go in our house when a tornado comes, what the siren sounds like. Here they're going to be starting to do the weekly siren practice drill. So we're going to talk about that. What happens if we're driving or we're somewhere when a tornado happens. So we're going to pause and take extra time talking about tornadoes, but this has been going well. Now for extracurriculars. We started a homeschool swim group once a week at our local gym, which has been going really well. So I say homeschool. There might be a few kids that aren't homeschooled in this group, but it's in the middle of the week in the morning, so, or around lunchtime. So I can't imagine that there's too many other kids that aren't homeschooled in this group, but it's been going really, really great. My kids have been enjoying it. It gets us out of the house and it's a good refresher. We haven't done swim lessons in a couple years. And it was time for us to get back into that. So we are doing that. And then we just signed up for homeschool soccer. We have been doing this for several years now. There is a mom somewhat close to us who helps teach at a co-op, and she's a certified soccer coach, and she does soccer and kickball and a bunch of other things in the spring, summer, and fall. So we've been doing that several years with her. And so the kids are really looking forward to doing soccer again with her because it is probably the highlight of their summer and fall. So we are looking forward to that in the next couple, I guess about a month here. That will start shortly after baby is born. So that's really everything that I have to update you guys on when it comes to my second grader for this last month of school. In general, it's going really well. I'm not sure how much we're going to update on next month because baby will be coming, and I'm not sure exactly how much school we will end up doing. I'm still planning on taking, relaxing a little bit more the closer that we get, but I don't want to stop things altogether because I do want us to have a solid break. This is going to be more of like our summer break, even though we're year-round homeschoolers. We tend to try to take a month off in the summer, and we're going to use that time after baby's born to take that break. So I'm not sure how much school we'll end up doing next month, but until then we're going to be chugging away at least at our math and our history and our spelling. Those are the three things that I want us to really focus on. So if we have to let some other things go, we will do that. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of videos you like to see on this channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how your school has been going and what changes you've been making and what you're looking forward to in the next couple months. I'd love to know. Hit that subscribe button. It is a free way for you to be notified of future videos, and I can't wait to catch you guys next time. Bye.